Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. Going to hear from some area county leaders about the possibility of a mask mandate.
Newton County, Missouri will soon be purchasing a mobile morgue unit to help area hospitals during the pandemic. But county commissioners say it's not a reason for anyone to panic. You'll hear from them coming up.
New coronavirus restrictions are in place across the country to try and stop a surge of new cases ahead of the holidays. I'm Gary Tenney in Lansing, Michigan with the details coming up.
Doug Henny is weather. Jacob and Andy have some sports as well tonight. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today issues a new statewide mask mandate. This as the state continues to see coronavirus cases rise. New order takes effect November 25th and only in counties that don't have their own mandates. The order requires people to wear a face covering in indoor public spaces. However, Kansas state law does allow counties to opt out of such orders. Local officials and communities have responded to the call from healthcare providers to implement mask mandates in their own communities. KOAM's Chris Warner has more from leaders in Jasper and Newton counties.
Local healthcare providers have called on community leaders in our area to issue mask mandates in their communities to help slow the spread of COVID-19 amid a rise in cases. However, not everyone has the authority to issue a mandate.
It's not really our decision to make on local municipalities. But yes, I think it's important, but that's going to be a decision for our Newton County Health Director.
Newton County Health Department Administrator Larry Bergner says right now he doesn't feel a mask mandate is necessary.
I've always found you get more compliance usually with education, and I'd like to think that the citizens of Newton County and the citizens of Missouri that we observe enough what's going on in our communities that we will comply when we see the need to comply.
4 cities issued statements Tuesday night responding to the healthcare providers' requests for mask mandates. Joplin says it's looking to see how the region will respond. Mayor Ryan Stanley said in his letter, quote, "At the close of Monday night's council meeting, I received confirmation from the council to contact the county commissioners to learn their intended next steps in this matter." 3 cities responded in a unified statement saying, quote, "The cities of Carl Junction, Carthage, and Webb City jointly encourage our good citizens to double down on your COVID protocols. We cannot predict that doubling down on these protocols will change the curve, but if it keeps just one person out of the hospital, our extra efforts will have been worth it. We trust our good people to do their part and know in our 3 cities that we are in this together." We also reached out to the Jasper County Commissioners who provided this response saying, quote, "We encourage the residents of Jasper and surrounding counties to please do their part in wearing masks, social distancing, and limiting the size of gatherings in an effort to stop the spread. It is our hope that all residents take these recommendations seriously and practice them fully." In Jasper and Newton counties, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
At this time, only the city of Joplin is considering a mask mandate. It's going to be taken up at a special meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Now, in last night's KOAM News Now Insta poll, we asked you if you would support a mask mandate in your own community. 66% of you said yes, you would support a mandate. 34% of you, however, said you would not. Here's an updated look at coronavirus cases among some of our area counties. Jasper County has had 4,405 total cases. Newton County, Missouri is reporting 2,805 cases. McDonald County, Missouri has had 1,477 cases. Crawford County, Kansas, sitting at 2,026. Finally, Ottawa County, Oklahoma has had a total of 1,515 cases. Doug Henny joins us now with our first look at weather. You guys weren't kidding yesterday when you said today was going to be windy.
It was super windy
Yeah.
across the region. Winds at times gusting 45 upwards to 50, and we're going to do that again as we head into the daytime hours tomorrow. 47, 70 were the numbers, average highs 58, so well above where we should be for this time of the year. And a wind advisory back in effect for us tomorrow. A few little clouds trying to sneak in, so I still think we'll be mostly sunny skies, but we are going to have a few clouds that kind of work through for us late tonight into tomorrow. Temperature is still not bad. Most of us 60 to about 62 degrees, but the winds are still fairly strong. They're going to stay strong tonight and then again into tomorrow. We're going to look at it everything that's going to happen all the way up to Thanksgiving here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. A mobile morgue unit is soon going to be coming to Newton County, Missouri, and will be used to help Freeman, Mercy, and other health hospitals during the coronavirus pandemic. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to a Newton County commissioner, also the county coroner, to learn more.
A mobile morgue, similar to this one being used in El Paso, Texas, will soon be under the command of the Newton County coroner. Newton County commissioners say they are making the purchase with CARES Act funds following a request from Freeman and Mercy hospitals, which are concerned about rising COVID-19 rates.
They wanted the bodies removed so they were not in the room so they could properly clean the room because hospitals are full.
But county commissioners want to make it clear. The purchase is a preemptive measure against the pandemic and not a response to a coronavirus emergency in the four-state area.
That doesn't mean the deaths are increasing. The positive rate is increasing. We do know that. We do understand that Southwest Missouri is right now kind of a hot area. We're not experiencing more deaths, however, and so that needs to be understood.
The Newton County coroner tells KOAM that he applauds commissioners for making the purchase and says the mobile morgue will be helpful during natural disasters and other post-pandemic emergencies. Newton County Commissioner Bill Reibold says the mobile morgue should be purchased by next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm Mike Mahoney for KOAM News.
Freeman Health System issued a statement on Newton County's mobile morgue purchase saying, quote, Freeman Health System applauds the efforts of the Newton County Coroner's Office in taking these proactive steps to prepare for possible eventualities. All New York City public schools are going to temporarily close in-person learning starting tomorrow. While many parents understand the dangers of the pandemic, some don't like the idea of schools being closed again. All schools will go fully remote. Schools are going to reopen for in-person instruction once officials deem it to be safe. Another round of coronavirus restrictions is on the way for several hotspot states ahead of the holidays. A lot of hope is riding, though, on a potential vaccine, with one manufacturer releasing final phase 3 trial results. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has more.
With Thanksgiving just days away, states are preparing for another surge of COVID-19 infections. Minnesota plans to close bars, restaurants, and gyms for at least 4 weeks. In Los Angeles County, non-essential businesses will limit their capacity to 25% beginning Friday to curb the spread. Gatherings must be outdoors with 15 people or less.
The safest way to celebrate Thanksgiving this year is at home with the people you live with. Gathering indoors with people who aren't members of your household is a higher risk activity for spreading the virus.
The fall surge is seeing several governors reverse course as Iowa, North Dakota, and Utah enforce new mask mandates. North Dakota currently has the highest COVID-19 mortality rate in the world, and some health experts fear things could get worse as the state allows asymptomatic health staff to treat COVID-positive patients.
We're pretty much at our breaking points. And so now if we contract the virus, we have to continue to work.
And all eyes are on Pfizer as the company plans to file for emergency use of its vaccine on Friday. This comes after final analysis showed the vaccine is 95% effective. Pfizer reported out of 170 infections that occurred during trials, only 8 happened in participants that received the vaccine instead of a placebo.
Pretty much all the antibodies that are generated are going to be neutralizing. So they're going to be antibodies that can actually stop the virus binding onto its receptor.
Pfizer says no serious side effects from its vaccine have been reported. In Lansing, Michigan, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Christopher Pursley has served in the U.S. Army. Native of Carthage, Missouri, Pursley has been stationed in Afghanistan, Iraq, also Africa. He's earned numerous awards. We are proud to thank Christopher Pursley, tonight's 4-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, Pitt State football preparing for their final game of the fall this weekend. Gonna hear from the team.
Well, it turned out to be a warm day for mid-November. Very windy, winds at times gusting upwards of about 45 to 50 miles per hour, which is kind of nuts. Great time lapse. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo Sky, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Plenty of sunshine for us throughout the daytime hours today. Let's go ahead, zoom in. Here's downtown Joplin. Temperature still decently comfortable. We're sitting at 62. South winds, though, still at 24 miles per hour. We had the red flag advisory today just due to the humidity being so low. And of course, that is a burn situation. You don't want to be burning. You don't want to do it again tomorrow either. 61 in Carthage, Baxter at 63, Miami 63. Pittsburgh is sitting at about 60 degrees. And this is consistent. Most of us near 60 into lower 60s. We're not going to drop off much. Maybe down to about 54, 55 degrees later on tonight, and that is just about it. Strong south wind still kicking in, sustained in that kind of 15 to 25 mile per hour range. And then you look at our gusts, even higher than that. Even over the past few hours, there's still 35 upwards of 40 miles per hour. And these are going to actually crank up a little bit by the time we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. So we'll drop back to about 54 later on tonight, 61 by 9, 69 by noon. A little bit warmer for us tomorrow as we should go up to about 74 degrees. We do have the wind advisory in effect once again for Thursday. A few little clouds sneaking in, but they're going to be very thin, but we are going to have a few more clouds tonight and then into tomorrow. And this is ahead of our next storm system, which is brewing back across the northern parts of the Rockies and then stretching back into the Pacific Northwest. Look at the winds tomorrow. Winds gusting 50 to about 55 at times, so super windy. And then the winds will start to diminish at least a little bit by the time we head into tomorrow evening. Let's go through the overnight hours. A few little clouds sneaking in. We'll drop back into the mid-50s. Tomorrow looks good. It's just going to be so windy. But you can see our temperatures warming up nicely, starting at 54, 68 by noon, and a high temp of 74 degrees. Tomorrow night, clouds increase. May even get a little bit of drizzle at times. And then on Friday, we're going to have cloudy skies, drizzle, and light showers developing by the time we head into the afternoon hours. But temperatures are still going to be good as we're mainly going to be into the 60s. Light rain sets in Friday evening, Friday night. Let's go into Saturday morning. Light showers across the region, and then picking up a bit, especially our northern counties, by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. You can even see mixing with a little bit of snow in our northern counties. But we're going to be dropping back into the 40s, so it's going to be very cool, wet weekend. Good weekend to stay inside. 74 for us tomorrow, 68 on Friday, showers. 57 and dropping on Saturday. Only 48 with rain on Sunday. We get a break Monday, next system in on Tuesday. We'll look more into next week and traveling and all that here in the second half hour.
50 to 55 mile an hour winds tomorrow. When I first saw those numbers on your map, I thought those were the temperatures for tomorrow.
Yeah, kind of crazy, isn't it?
Goodness. All right, Doug, thank you. Coming up, ongoing questions with the presidential election.
The Trump campaign officially files for a recount in 2 counties in Wisconsin. I'm Ray Bogan with more details on how much it'll cost and when we'll get the results coming up.
President-elect Joe Biden continues to emphasize the importance of a timely transition, saying the holdup could hamper his new administration's efforts to deal with the coronavirus crisis. President Trump, however, is standing firm in his belief the election was stolen and letting it be known on Twitter as he questions the ballot counting in several states that's going on. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has more.
This crisis has showed the nation we literally couldn't survive without you all.
President-elect Joe Biden held a virtual roundtable with frontline workers who are in harm's way as cases surge around the country.
We aren't prepared. We don't have the necessary resources to keep patients and our workers safe.
As Congress discusses another relief package, Biden reiterated his support for hazard pay.
It's not enough to praise you. We have to protect you. We have to pay you.
Meanwhile, President Trump sent out a round of tweets. One says in part, "I won the election, voter fraud all over the country." The Trump campaign officially filed for a recount in 2 Wisconsin counties and wired $3 million to the state's elections commission to pay for it. The campaign alleges absentee ballots were illegally altered and issued in Milwaukee and Dane counties. The deadline to complete the recount is December 1st.
The president believes, and so too do many others, that if every legal vote is counted, he will remain president. He's pursuing litigation, but this president always wants what's in the best interest of our country.
Biden leads in Wisconsin by about 20,000 votes. That's less than 1%. The Biden campaign says, quote, "A cherry-picked and selective recounting of Milwaukee and Dane County will not change these results." A new Monmouth University poll found that 60% of Americans have confidence the election was conducted fairly and accurately. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Just ahead, a national look here. Many COVID-19 infected healthcare workers still at the job.
Overwhelmed hospitals are also dealing with COVID-positive nurses and doctors. I'm David Spunt. That story coming up.
We know that being overweight and obese puts patients at higher risk of serious complications from the coronavirus. Well, now, new research shows the link is strongest for younger adults under age 50. A study in the journal Circulation looked at more than 7,600 patients and found severely obese people under 50 are more likely to be hospitalized, need a ventilator, and die from COVID. About 2/3 of American adults are obese or overweight. The feared resurgence of the coronavirus has medical centers scrambling to keep up, especially with some healthcare workers themselves needing treatment. Fox News correspondent David Spunt reports.
The surge that we thought we were having then was really nothing compared to what we're experiencing now.
Healthcare facilities are overwhelmed, and the people trying to fight the pandemic are becoming patients themselves. The Mayo Clinic on Tuesday said more than 900 of its staff have tested positive in the past 2 weeks. That number is nearly 1/3 of the total amount of Mayo Clinic staff who've contracted the virus since the start of the pandemic. And some COVID-positive healthcare workers are still on the job. Infected nurses and doctors in hard-hit North Dakota can keep working as long as they're asymptomatic.
We're tired, we're physically and emotionally exhausted, we're pretty much at our breaking point.
It may seem like a dangerous scenario, but it follows CDC guidelines, and there are not many alternatives.
What else are we going to do? That's the question. Too many patients, not enough nurses.
Hospitals do have one advantage in this second wave: experience. Healthcare workers know more about the virus and what kind of treatment is most effective for patients. Medical professionals are also in a better place with PPE, testing kits, and other crucial equipment.
They know the protocols for getting these patients into the hospital, for testing them, for isolating them, for how to serve them when they're in the hospital to get the best result.
In its weekly report, the White House Coronavirus Task Force says the situation is not improving, adding that gatherings and travel for Thanksgiving could spell even more trouble. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
I think we would all agree healthcare workers are going above and beyond during this time, and we thank all of them. One surgery not related to this pandemic, though, further proving this point. Going to hear more when we come back. Distractions are a great way to get your mind off a scary surgery. A 10-year-old boy went into surgery and was expecting to hear beeps and machines, but wasn't expecting what we just saw a few seconds ago, a piano as background music. A team of doctors in Italy removed a double tumor in the child's spinal cord. While the surgery was taking place right there, a molecular biologist played a grand piano in the operating room. The music was played at a very specific frequency, which has been recognized to have a relaxing effect on the body. Thankfully, the hospital is reporting the patient is doing well. So much of medicine is science, right? Medicine and medicine itself, drugs, and then you see that. It's kind of cool to see that. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. How early is too early to decorate for Christmas? Could be some good therapy in a way, especially this year. Plus, going to learn about a new program over at Missouri Southern that's going to help connect students to top executives. Also, some fundraising going on for a local organization that helps the hungry, no matter the time of year. Doug and I were just talking. Kind of hard to believe Thanksgiving is next week already, but many people have already gotten a head start on their Christmas decorations this year. And it seems decorating early may be just what some need. KOAM's Caitlin Shive explains.
Jamie Kelly and her family have a tradition of decorating for Christmas right after Black Friday.
Having that tradition right behind Thanksgiving has been something to look forward to.
But this year they are decorating early.
We started last week. We had a couple nice days, so the husband went up on the roof and started putting up lights and pulling all of the Christmas decorations out of the shed. And we figured we might as well start early. There's not a whole lot else that we've got going on that we're doing, and it's just a fun time of year, so why not make it last longer?
She says that it brings them a sense of happiness and joy.
It does give you permission to just take a breath and spend more time with your family, and we do crafts together.
Yeah, and plus we decorate our Christmas tree.
And experts say that the mental correlation between decorating for the holidays and one's happiness may be true for everyone who decorates early this year.
Studies show that people who decorate, whether it's early or later, have a sense of childlike euphoria and happiness. And so it is not a bad thing to necessarily go ahead and decorate early, especially with everything going on in the world today and as much trouble as we're having in our own lives.
The Joplin National Alliance on Mental Health is even suggesting to their support groups and clients to decorate early to help them have a happier holiday.
That's really important because of all the negatives in our lives right now. If we can even find one good thing, one positive thing to try to look to and give us hope, I think that's very important right now.
For Kelly, it's a time to enjoy possibly a new family tradition.
You get a chance to go back and watch all of the movies you watched when you were a kid and the Christmas specials and listen to the Christmas music.
Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
I love Christmas too. New Year's Day is going to be another awesome thing coming up. Good riddance to 2020. You can find more on this story on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. MSSU announced a new Global Leaders Program. It starts in the fall of 2021. 50 first-time freshmen are going to have the opportunity to grow in their leadership skills by interacting with nationally and globally recognized executives. Students will have trips to corporate headquarters.
One of the factors will be financial need. Now, many of our students already, we know, are first-generation college students. They have financial need. So that will be part of the mix as we select those students.
Students in this program are going to have at least requirement of at least a 3.0 grade point average. They're also going to receive a $4,000 check that can be used towards international travel, among other things. Shortly after that announcement, the MSSU Board of Governors met. One of the topics discussed was how the school will be handling classes next semester. President Van Galen says the campus will still be open to staff and students, and though most classes will be online, some will still be in person. You may have gotten a phone call today by a volunteer with the Pittsburgh Noon Rotary. It was part of Fantasy Feast 2020, a phone-a-thon for Lord's Diner. The diner is a not-for-profit in Pittsburgh that serves free meals 365 days a year to anyone who is hungry.
It makes me a little teary-eyed in the fact that we're on this earth because of God. Our possessions are because of God, and God wants us to give back. That's the will of God. And when we do something like that, I can't think of anything but good thoughts.
Lord's Diner received a $50,000 match grant given by an anonymous donor. There's some fashion that's trending within the Carthage School District. It's helping raise awareness and money for an important cause, type 1 diabetes. Folks paid $5 to wear blue or gray jeans. It was organized by Ashley Weston, a Carthage School District employee who lost her daughter to type 1 diabetes. Since that loss, Weston took it upon herself to educate people about this disease.
I just want to shout it from the rooftops to save any life that I can. Hannah didn't present with the typical signs, but so many children do, and if parents and others are aware, they can catch it in time.
The money raised goes to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation to further research and education regarding the disease. Today is the inaugural National Injury Prevention Day. It was started by the Injury Free Coalition for Kids as a way to raise awareness about common ways kiddos are injured, and that injuries are the leading cause of death and disability among kids here in the United States. Officials say some common injuries come from car seats being used wrongly, improper use of guns, pools, and medicine.
Like I said, kids don't always listen to you when you tell them not to do things because that's a very colorful, bright fluid. It looks like Kool-Aid. Some of the window washer stuff is blue, right? My kid thinks that that's Kool-Aid or Powerade or something like that. Same with medications. They kind of look like candy.
Some tips they give are to lock up those medications, also guns, remember that. Keep an eye on kids around pools. And remember that car seats do expire. They expire typically after 6 years. A bit later, fewer troops overseas.
The Taliban and Iraqi government welcoming news of a major U.S. troop drawdown overseas. I'm Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. I'll have the details coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a warm day for us today. Also extremely windy. We had those winds gusting upwards of 50 during the afternoon, which is kind of crazy, but the winds are going to stay strong tonight. And then again for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. Great time lapse. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, plenty of sunshine for us today. Zooming in, temperature is still pretty good. Downtown Joplin sitting at 62 south winds. Look at that, sustained at about 24 miles per hour. And most of us across the metro are sitting into lower 60s. And this is really consistent across the entire four-state area. Most of us near 60 to about 62. Eventually tonight, we'll drop back just a little bit down into the mid-50s. But look at the winds. They're still strong south winds at about 20 miles per hour. They're going to be a little weaker tonight, and then they're going to pick back up once again for us tomorrow. But look at the wind gusts over the past several hours, way up there. A lot of us 40 to about 45, even pushing 50 miles per hour. So we'll start the day. We're going to warm up through the 50s and then into the 60s, all the way up to about 74 once again for us tomorrow afternoon. So at least it looks pretty good. Wind advisory in effect across the region for us on Thursday. Most of us have had pretty much clear skies. A few little clouds have been sneaking in over the past couple hours. Not a big deal. Pretty much mostly clear tonight. We'll have partly to mostly sunny skies tomorrow, but the beginnings of our next storm system brewing out across the northern parts of the Rockies, which will start to affect us by the time we head into Friday. Ahead of it, real strong south winds again tomorrow. Look at these wind gusts, 50, maybe upwards of 55 in some locations. So let's step through time. Let's go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We'll drop back mid-50s. Partly to mostly sunny skies for us tomorrow, warming up, even warmer than what we saw today. Starting at 54, 68 by noon, high temp right around 74. And again, those south winds at 20, upwards of 30, but gusts pushing 50. Clouds increase tomorrow night. Let's go into Friday morning. Could even get a little bit of drizzle. And then on Friday, cloudy skies will be in the 60s. Here's about the noon hour, but light showers will start to develop, especially as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Light pockets of rain on top of the region. Let's go through Friday night into Saturday morning. Light showers continue. We'll start the day Saturday, most likely into the 50s. This is going to be like midnight. And then we drop into the 40s, and it's just a cold rain. So here's Saturday afternoon, just cold rain across the region, even mixing with a little bit of snow as you get a little farther north near Kansas City. So this system gives us rain until Sunday. We clear out. We get a break. Another system on Tuesday. A lot of people traveling on Wednesday. Wednesday looks okay. Thanksgiving, we'll have to watch for a weak wave that could give us a few showers, but at least temperatures look pretty good. 74 for us tomorrow. 68 Friday, showers. Rain over the weekend, cold rain as we set into the 40s most of the weekend.
Minus that winds tomorrow, 74 seems pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Doug, thank you. Coming up in sports, a few Webb City high school athletes signing their letters of intent to head to the collegiate level. Plus, going to hear from the Pitt State football team as they get ready to face West Texas A&M in their final game of the fall. This weekend is the final weekend of the season for the Pitt State football team. Pitt State hits the road on Saturday to face West Texas A&M, finish up their fall schedule.
What was once an improbable season is already coming to an end for the Pittsburgh State Gorillas.
Once that first game hit, we were just rolling, and it just flew by. It's crazy to think that we're already on the last game.
We worked all off season, not knowing if we were going to get to play a game at all. So I think just having 4 games is tremendously just really exciting for us to be able to go out there and play and not have to waste the off season doing all these workouts for nothing.
Pitt State will play its 4th and final game of the fall on Saturday against West Texas A&M. Although it's been an abbreviated schedule, it's been worth it for first-year head coach Brian Wright and the Gorillas.
Any opportunity to play this season has helped us and helped our football team come together and grow and get better. And
then we have something to evaluate in the offseason and really to work from.
As long as we got at least one game, it would mean that'd make everything worth it.
There have been ups and downs on both sides of the ball.
We're making progress week to week. We're nowhere near where we need to be offensively. You know, I'm disappointed that we haven't been able to put more points on the board right now. We've run the ball well at times. We've thrown the ball well at times. We just haven't been able to put it all together.
Defensively,
we've got to still continue to eliminate the big plays and the big conversions on 3rd and 4th and long. But you can overcome a few things if you're playing aggressively, you're playing fast, and you're running to the football. And really pleased with how our defense is doing that.
I think we've been rolling on the defensive side. We've been playing fast and hard, and we want to be the most physical team out there.
Pitt State is 1-2 heading into this weekend. A win or lose, they've already done what they came to do this fall.
I believe we have. I think we've proved a lot that we're the real deal and that we're coming after to win that national championship.
And after Saturday, it's full speed ahead on getting ready for fall 2021.
We have high school playoff games that we can get out and see, and then we'll get into a contact period here in December where we can get out and see some guys, and then it'll be about getting recruits on campus after that.
Saturday's game is going to begin at noon. 3 Webb City student athletes signed today to continue their careers in college. 2 of them, Tragan Parker and Cole Gaiman, are heading to Missouri Southern, but still have unfinished business in high school. Sports reporter Andy Ciateco has this story.
Tragan Parker and Cole Gaiman have been teammates for more than a decade.
We've been growing up playing together, and we've always had a great bond and been best friends. And so getting to play college baseball is something that we're looking forward to and thankful for.
The two talked about sticking together beyond high school, and now it's a reality as Parker and Gaiman signed letters of intent to play baseball for Missouri Southern.
We went to a camp our sophomore year, and we were like, this would be awesome if we could do this and pull this off, and to finally sign and do it is awesome.
I mean, it's going to be great. I mean, just because we've known each other, we're going to have that chemistry on the diamond together.
Tragan's a heck of an infielder, and Cole's a heck of a pitcher, and I know that's how they're going there. So, you know, they'll add depth for sure. Webb City baseball is a really rich tradition. You know, they got a lot of good players and a lot of players that have played college baseball. And it's just great to see these guys be able to do that, and it's an added bonus, I guess, that they're local and playing for my brother.
The COVID-19 pandemic cost these two their junior year, but this spring they have some unfinished business to take care of before moving on.
We're ready to do big things after our sophomore years, and for it to be taken away from us was devastating. And this year we're going to work harder than ever and show what we could have done last year.
We're going to make this senior season the best possible and hopefully make the next 4 years even better.
In Webb City, Andy Ciateco, KOAM Sports.
So Parker and Gaiman have signed to play baseball in college, but the two are still focused on this football season. Webb City Cards are going to host Lebanon in the Class 5 state quarterfinals Friday night at 7 p.m. Back with more news after this. Boeing's 737 MAX airliner is going to be allowed to fly again after the FAA decided to remove a grounding order. The jet has not flown passengers since March of last year after 2 deadly crashes linked to a design flaw that killed 346 people. Regulators from around the world agreed to changes to add redundancy to the anti-stall sensors, also reduce a system's ability to overpower a flight crew. President Trump is pulling out all the stops to get U.S. troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan before he leaves office. Some experts say could be a destabilizing move that opens the door for another foreign power to extend its influence in the region. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more now from the Pentagon.
President Trump made withdrawing from what he called endless wars in Iraq and Afghanistan a central theme of his first campaign. Now, 4 years later, he's taking a big step toward that goal, announcing significant troop drawdowns in Iraq and Afghanistan, with a plan calling for just 2,500 U.S. troops in each country by January 15th.
The president's hard at work drawing down our number of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, bringing our men and women home.
In a statement, a Taliban spokesman called the move, quote, a practical step toward ending Afghanistan's nearly 20-year-old war. The terror group says the reduced U.S. force will help facilitate ongoing peace talks. Iraqi leaders also welcoming the drawdown, but they're painting it as a political victory, claiming all combat troops will now be leaving the country.
The nature of the remaining forces is not combat troops, meaning that the American combat forces are withdrawing from Iraq.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo working hard to reassure skeptical U.S. allies that Iran won't step in to fill the void when U.S. troops leave. Pompeo announcing new sanctions on Tehran during a trip to Israel on Wednesday. Also noting recent peace deals brokered by the Trump administration should help further isolate the Iranians.
Their influence in the region is waning and that they are ever more isolated, and this shall forever be until they change their direction.
Just minutes after the announcement of the U.S. drawdown, Iranian-backed militias fired rockets at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
When we come back, we're going to check out a new series documenting the force against systemic racism and discrimination. The first of 5 films from Steve McQueen's Small Axe anthology series premieres this week. And while the collection tells the stories from the past, they still resonate today. Fox's Matt Napolitano has the story.
Don't you think it's time things were different?
Award-winning filmmaker Steve McQueen celebrates Black resilience, triumph, and hope with the 5-film anthology series Small Axe. The collection includes Mangrove, Lover's Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatle, and Education. Each tell a different story of the people in London's West Indian community in the 1970s and 80s and their force of will against systemic racism and discrimination.
A unique perspective for once. I think this is the first time we've had this culture, this specific culture in this time portrayed in this way.
We see their challenges. We see how we go on a journey with them to see how they overcome that.
Letitia Wright stars in Mangrove as one of the Mangrove 9, a group of Black activists who were tried for provoking riots during a 1970 protest and made legal history when they won the case.
No matter what was thrown at them, they just kept going until they saw justice till the end.
In Red, White, and Blue, John Boyega plays Leroy Logan, a scientist and family man who decides to join the police force to help improve his community.
A man that has a strategy to change an institution from the inside out, but that ends up realizing that it's not as easy as he thinks. And in that comes with abuse. It comes with a lot of things that he goes through, but it shows his resilience also at the same time.
The Small Axe anthology will release each movie on a weekly rollout on Amazon Prime Video, starting with Mangrove this Friday. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a penguin exploring the Monterey Aquarium in California. Hey, little guy, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.